The road trip through South Germany turned out to be one of the most unexpectedly exciting trips ever. I had no idea how Alps and nature are beautiful in this region, and yet, whenever I thought that we saw the most beautiful lake ever, like when we saw Eibsee or Thümsee, the next lake just blew my mind even more. When we arrived to the Königssee cruising port, although it was actually just beginning of the season and very early in the morning, the line for buying tickets was already very long. So while Uge queued the line for buying boat tickets, I found us a table nearby and ordered us some delicious traditional Apfelstrudel with vanilla sauce and some cappuccino for breakfast. Guys, when you come to Bavaria, it is a must to try their apple pie, believe me. So, the boat cruising returning ticket is pretty high, 22 euros per person both ways, but it is really the best way to experience Königssee. However, I would advise you to buy the tickets online before, so that you don't need to wait like we did. And then finally, it was time for our little boat to depart. Guys, the emerald green color of the lake is unbelievable. The more we were going away from the town's boat dock, the view was getting more and more unreal. Königssee Lake is surrounded by the lush greenery and nestled between the steep walls of rock located at the foot of the imposing Watzmann East Wall in the heart of the famous Berchtesgaden National Park. On this day, we were so lucky with the weather that it was not foggy like it can get in the mountains, so we could clearly see the massive rocky peaks and glaciers with snow. Truly once-in-a-lifetime adventure. At one moment, our boat stopped, and the captain started to play the trumpet to show us the magical and whimsical side of Königssee, and that is how the sound echoes and bounces back from the mountain walls. It was really an amazing experience. Did you ever witness something like this before, at some other lake? So, the first stop that the boat makes on the way towards the end of the 8-kilometer long narrow lake is at a place called Saint Bartolome. Some people went out here, but we decided to continue the drive and make a stop here on the way back to the town's port. Since the boat is electric, we could really enjoy the silence of the nature. And there is even a rushing waterfall to see. And then, after around 45 minutes, we docked to the second and last cruising stop called Salle, which is also the end side of the lake. The alpine scenery from here is just wonderful. When you arrive at the end of the lake, you really understand why it is called Königssee, which means royal lake in English. My heart was full with joy and peace. We could have easily stayed here at the coast of the lake for hours, but the truth is that when you arrive at Salet, at the end of the lake, the best is to take a short 15 minutes walk to the nature scenery in order to get to another alpine lake here nearby that can maybe even compete with this beauty with Königssee, and you will now see why. My friends, welcome to the Obersee. Can you believe how beautiful this place is? So, the lake is surrounded by these massive rocks, and except this little tiny wooden cottage, there is really only pure nature around it. had to climb on this rock that made such a perfect place for photos and video shot, and the view really looked like from another planet. I got so overwhelmed by the beauty of the lake, I just couldn't stop admiring the gorgeous views of the mountains reflected in the mirror-like surface. Then we walked a bit around the lake, and I decided to climb one more rock again, just to feel a bit more united with the lake and the mountains. Can you believe how the water is clear and pure and cold? Trust me. I didn't have a bathing suit with me, but even if I would have it, I'm not sure if I would be brave enough to jump in it. So it is not possible to go all around Obersee Lake because there is no path around it. So we went as long as this earth path was leading, and then turned around. On the way back for catching our boat, we had some spare time until the boat was scheduled to start, so we decided to take a coffee in this stunning environment. There is exactly one restaurant here, and since many of the people already took the earlier boats, we were almost alone here, what made the whole experience even more private. Somewhere in the late afternoon, it was time for taking the boat back. We took almost the last boat back for that day, just to stay as long as possible here. The views from the boat are really breathtaking, and we were so happy to have this window seat without anyone around. And then we made a stop at Saint Bartolome, just as we planned before. Here we took a walk next to the lake, and again thoughts came to my mind, how it is just amazing that alpine lakes like Königssee or Obersee or Eibsee that you can watch in one of my previous videos have so crystal clear water. It just makes me so happy to see untouched nature, a real paradise on earth, carved like a fjord by glaciers. So there is not really much to do here at Saint Bartolome, except checking out the nature, taking a walk and visiting Baroque church of Saint Bartolome, originally built in 12th century. And there is also a restaurant here where they serve freshly caught fish in the lake, but since we took the last ride back, it was closed for the day. And except here for the restaurant, fishing is not allowed at the lake, just that you know. And then, my friends, it was time for us to take the boat again back to the dockport. When we arrived, most of the tourists were already gone, so the town got pretty empty and quiet. I hope, my friends, you enjoyed this short, heartwarming story from this stunning and gorgeous place in Germany. Thank you for being here and sharing these memories with me. Take care, my friends. Bye bye.